I am absolutely amazed at how many people love the Tab S8 Ultra. There are a lot of people out there who ended up going back to iPads because that's what happens with a lot of Android tablets. Some people just use them so they could review them and get some views, and then they send them back. And there's some other people who just thought it was a little bit too big. But there are a lot of people, including me, that have been very impressed with this device, and I've really seen a lot of good use cases for it, especially for those of you who want to be productive. But being productive and actually replacing your laptop, those are two separate things. A lot of you use your laptops for work, and you might be wondering how this will work with that. Or what about things like video editing? What about using this for college? Well, there's one thing we need to get out of the way. This actually has a lot of great use cases, and in a lot of ways, it's actually more productive than something like an iPad. You do have Samsung DeX, which does give you a laptop-like environment where you could open up multiple windows at the same time, and that's great. You also have that taskbar that's now in Android 13, so you could move back and forth quickly between apps. That is terrific. There's a lot of great multitasking you could do. This device also does come with the S Pen, of course, and with a 14.6-inch screen, with a 120 Hz refresh rate, there's a lot that this device could do for people who use an S Pen, or for people who actually use their device for creative purposes. This is terrific for workflows like that. A typical laptop, for example, is not going to have an OLED screen around this price. A lot of laptops around this price aren't going to be as good for entertainment. For school, a lot of you want to watch videos because you need to be not just entertained, you actually want to learn from YouTube videos, or you want to learn about various things. And having a gorgeous, amazing screen to view all that content on, that is essential for a lot of you college students. A lot of you want to take notes, and a lot of you, whenever you're actually practicing what you're learning, you want to use a pen to do that. And man, oh man, this device is terrific for that. If you have a job out there and you're trying to sketch things out, a lot of you do a lot of things with artwork and a lot of visual things. And this tablet is going to be way better than most laptops at actually drawing things out, at actually visualizing things. You could actually use touchscreen to your advantage, which you can't do on a lot of laptops that are out there. This is also a lot more portable than a lot of other laptops. Now, yes, this is 14.6 inches, and it is pretty heavy compared to some other tablets out there. And if it's a little too heavy, you could always get the Tab S8 Plus. But it's still going to be a lot lighter when you factor in the keyboard case and everything like that. It will still be a lot lighter than a traditional 15-inch laptop. And it will also be a lot more flexible than a laptop because, again, there are some times when you actually want to focus on drawing, and when you're wanting to focus on drawing, you could just use your case, whether it's the kickstand that you get with the keyboard case, or you could just buy a separate case as well. But you could just use that case and just draw away and take your notes, and whenever you need a keyboard, you could take one out and use it separately. So you have a lot of flexibility to travel light when you need to travel light, or to bring a little bit of extra stuff if you want to bring a Bluetooth mouse or bring your keyboard. So there is a lot of flexibility that you don't get with a traditional device. And when you're a college student, even when you're working, there's a lot of stuff you could be lugging with you every day, and this will give you a lot of portability. It will give you a far better screen than you're going to get in a lot of those devices, and a lot of tablets are just quicker and easier. So if I want to open up a specific app, I could put it right on my home screen so I have quick and easy access. A lot of laptops, they just take a lot more work. Things take longer to start up often, even if it's a very fast laptop. Things are just a little bit slower to get your daily stuff done. And that's because it's opening up all these extra things that it needs to do. It's opening up your virus scanning programs and all these things that you don't often need on something like an Android tablet. So yes, I do think that for a lot of people, this is a terrific device to use as a laptop. It could be very good to add to some productive work that you are doing. And even if it's not your main laptop, maybe it's a secondary device that you do secondary work on. Maybe it's your entertainment device and you use it for all this entertainment. But when you're in a pinch and when you need to travel and you don't want to bring a bulky laptop, maybe this is a secondary option. If you can afford having multiple devices like that, this is a terrific secondary option for that purpose. And if you're someone who can't, and you're someone who only needs one device, again, I would ask yourself, do you need Windows programs in what you do, whether it's your college or your job, and will the Android alternatives be good enough? And if you're someone who uses something like Photoshop, you can use the Android version of of Photoshop. You can use the Microsoft Word app or the Microsoft Excel app. But all of those things, whether it's Microsoft Word, whether it's Microsoft Excel, whether it's Photoshop, or maybe you like to use a video editing program like Premiere Pro or Final Cut on a Mac, those things cannot run on this device, at least with the same potential. So you might get a limited version, like a limited version of Microsoft Word. If you subscribe to Microsoft Office 365, you will have that option. Or if you want a limited version of Microsoft Excel, these are all things that college students often use for productivity, and you will get to use all those things, and honestly, I think you will get enough features from them to be just fine. But you are going to miss a few features from those programs or from Photoshop. There are some various features that you're going to be missing on those programs because this does not run Windows programs. If you want to use this as a laptop, you have to ask, will I need Windows programs? Is there a specific program I run on Windows or on a Mac that I cannot run to its full potential on a tablet? And is that a big deal to me? Now, if you're someone who doesn't need those Windows programs, I'm here to tell you this is a terrific laptop replacement for the right people. If you're here to use Google Docs, there's good news for you. You could go to drive.google.com. You could pull up your Google Drive. You could do anything you want with your Google Docs and it will work just fine. You could also use the Android version of Google Drive and Google Docs and Google Sheets, and all of those things are free, so you don't really need those Microsoft applications if you have a Google alternative that saves to the cloud. Now, what about things like video editing? Well, this isn't the best video editor compared to something like a laptop, but this still can video edit just fine with apps like LumaFusion that did recently release to the Galaxy Store, and it did release to the Google Play Store as well. You can render 4K videos on there if you want. There's a lot of great features that you have. Now, there are some features that are missing from this video editor that you would get in other video editors on Windows. For example, a lot of video editors will allow you to export your project file, and they will allow you to import it into another video editor. While LumaFusion will not import other project files from Premiere Pro or from Final Cut or any other programs like that. So that is a minor inconvenience. But LumaFusion is a lot cheaper. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a solid video editor. You can pay a one-time purchase. You don't have to pay a monthly fee, and you will get LumaFusion for a reasonable price. Now, what about for college work? Would this do well in a college environment? I would say yes and no. One consideration is the fact that a lot of desks out there, they're very small, especially in colleges when you're really cramming those seats together. There's not a lot of room to put a laptop. And even though 14.6 inches is sort of the size of a traditional laptop, this actually has a kickstand on the back. So if you actually lay it out all the way, this is going to take more room than a normal laptop because a traditional laptop doesn't need a kickstand. So that extra room on a desk, you might not have it. But that is good news because you can't just detach the keyboard from it, and that will give you a lot of extra room that you wouldn't get on a normal laptop, and a lot of room that you wouldn't get on a lot of iPads, because remember, the Magic Keyboard on the iPad is not something that you could just take off that easily, and even if you could, you wouldn't have a kickstand on the tablet to hold it up. Now, the other thing is a lot of colleges may require certain formats. Some of them do use Google Docs. In fact, a lot of colleges are going that route. But some of them do require some things in Microsoft Word, which again, if you want to use Microsoft Word on an Android tablet, you are going to have that Microsoft Office 365 subscription. Now, you could use a different app that actually saves in Microsoft Word format. You could actually use Google Docs and save it in Microsoft Word format, but sometimes saving it in that format can really change some things on your document, and there is a little bit of risk with that, so that's just something else to keep in mind. And some colleges actually require, depending on your major, depending on what you're going after, some colleges actually require that you use certain programs on Windows. So you could actually go to your college and go to their website. Sometimes they will let you know what requirements they have as far as technology, and some of them do require that you use a Windows Windows or a Mac device. Now, some of them won't, or some of them will claim you need Windows, when in reality an Android tablet would work. So you might want to check with your college to see exactly what programs they use and how they use them, so you could determine for yourself if a tablet would be good for you. But there are a lot of advantages to using something like this for college, or even using a Tab S8 Plus. If you need a little bit of extra room, you want a little bit of a smaller tablet, even the Tab S8 Plus would do very nicely. And some of those advantages include things like the S Pen. So a traditional laptop normally won't have a 120 Hz screen, and you're not going to have an S Pen that comes in the box, for example. So having an S Pen for notes is terrific, and that's something a lot of us like to do in college. And having an ability to handwrite notes is also very essential for a lot of us. And being able to do it on a 120 Hz screen, that's a lot nicer than doing it on a 60 Hz screen on a laptop. Also, those flimsy laptop screens aren't quite as nice to write on as something like a tablet screen. So you do have some advantages with the Tab S8 Ultra. You can still use Samsung DeX again to spread things out and be a little more productive. You could put your music there in the background while you also have your Google Docs. There's a lot of cool productivity things you could do in Samsung DeX. So there are some things that are really nice to see from this Tab S8 Ultra. And it will work great for a lot of college assignments, and a lot of them don't need a lot of extra Windows programs. A lot of times you just need a good word processor like Google Docs, and you can type away with no issue. Now, what about other jobs that you may have? You may have a different job out there where you primarily use the web, and if that's the case, you can still make this device very productive. In fact, you can go into something like Google Chrome, or you can go into Samsung Internet even, and you can actually add shortcuts to different websites on your home screen. So if you do use certain websites, you can actually add those shortcuts very easily. Now, there are some other disadvantages I want to talk about. For example, web extensions. A lot of web extensions are only for desktop versions of Google Chrome. So a Chromebook, for example, would be able to handle those. And there's plenty of Samsung Chromebooks out there, by the way, that are terrific. But if you don't want to use a Chromebook, well, hey, a normal Windows laptop also could run a full desktop version of Google Chrome. But a lot of you just don't need those things. I know for me, I like to have web extensions and they can help. But if you're someone out there who just wants to go to the web, you want to go to Hulu, well, guess what? There's an Android app for that. If you just want to use it for entertainment, this has a terrific OLED screen. If you want to use it for notes, this is terrific for that. If you want to pull up Google Docs while you research something in another window, or if you want to pull up multiple windows of Google Chrome or multiple instances of Samsung Internet, that is something that you can now do on Android tablets. So overall, there are a lot of great ways to be productive on this tablet. Now, I know I've talked about some negative things, and it's not really negative against this tablet itself, just saying that Android is a little limited in some things. But again, there are so many advantages to using a tablet like this. But if you're someone out there who, on the other hand, says, no, I need those Windows programs, well, of course this won't work as well for you. Now, this could still be a great secondary device, and I still think that this is a terrific device worth buying, because for those of you out there who are artists, this is great for drawing on a super large canvas. If you like watching movies, it is terrific for watching movies. And even if you like to game, gaming on such a large screen, it's incredible, and it really does give you a big advantage over other people that are gaming, whether you're gaming on Xbox Game Pass or if you're gaming on an Android app. There's a lot of great advantages to using something like the Tab S8 Ultra. So it's a highly recommended device, even with the Tab S9 Ultra coming out. I don't know if it's going to come out in May or August, but it's been delayed for a while, so I would expect it to take a little bit of time. But this device did release with a lot of software support, 4 years of operating system updates. That's a really, really big deal. So I think this device is a device that will last. I think it's a terrific device overall. It's very speedy for me. It's got a lot of great productivity options on it, and I would recommend it for a lot of you if you could handle some of the minor compromises with it. So hopefully this video did help you to see a lot of advantages with this. I understand that there's a lot more to work, right? A lot of you don't just do productivity stuff. And if you do love to entertain yourself, this is the #1 entertainment tablet, in my opinion, that's out there. And it's also one of the most flexible tablets with Samsung DeX to do a lot more, and it comes with the S Pen. There's a lot of great things to like, and even if the keyboard cover is a little bit expensive, there are also some super minor issues with the keyboard cover. If I type the word Y-O-U, multiple times, then it does miss a keystroke every now and again, right? So there are really minor issues that I've had with this keyboard cover. So no, I don't know if I'd pay $350 for it. That is a little bit expensive, but I have seen a lot of sales on the keyboard cover. You can buy the keyboard cover from a lot of other places, and it does go on sale. And you could always use a Bluetooth keyboard. So like, this is a device that I would recommend to almost anyone out there who wants a lot of entertainment, who wants a lot of fun. It's the #1 entertainment tablet, but it's also good for those who want a lot of flexibility to do a lot of laptop work as well. It might not be the best laptop, but it can definitely be a laptop for a lot of you who can deal with some minor compromise. So hopefully this helps. Please give me a like on this video, give me a sub to my channel, that does mean a lot. And by the way, if you want more content, I talk a lot about Galaxy tablets, so feel free to check out some other videos. I hope you have a great day, and I also hope you enjoy your week.